Wound up and ready to go we are. I'm John Zidar. We got Taylor behind the screen there. Hell, you can't see Taylor. There you go. There's Taylor. Kinda. How you doing, Taylor?
I'm doing all right.
Glad to hear that. Taylor and I talked beforehand. It's not like she just steps in. I don't know
Right.
what's going on. We're working together here. We have got a show already lined up because of our regulars here. We got a bunch of you that have already brought in tickers for me. I like to get a bunch of them set up. We're going to look at about 5 of them. That's what we got set up right now. So we got room for 2, maybe 3 more from the tickers dropped during the show. So drop us hot tickers. Taylor's going to choose 2 of them, at least 2, and we're going to look at those. So our tickers today, well, as I said, they come from our regulars like Velmore, who's been here from the very beginning. Thank you, Velmore. Mark Ryan has asked us to look at Agba, which we haven't looked at in quite a while, and he wants us to remember, don't forget about that warrant. It can make you some good money. We're going to also look at Underdogs BDPT, and Valentino gave me a choice between OPKO and OVID. I chose the better chart. That was all I did. So we're going to look at OVID. And I do believe that was all I see here. Yep, that was all I had. A couple of you asked for a few of these back to back. So I'm going to be scratching a few itches here. Glad to be doing it for you. So we're going to jump on into this, and whatever comes to my mind as we're talking, I'll bring it on in. So we're going to look at plug first. This came as a request from my Discord group. Been spending a lot of time in my Discord group here recently. Been spending most of my time for months and months and months over at Twitter. Well, I give Twitter quite a lot in the morning. Once the bell goes off, I run over to my Discord group, our free member page, where we got a bunch of people who are trading hot stocks. We're looking for momentum players, stocks moving right now. We're doing swing trades. We're doing other trades, not just penny stocks, all sorts of stocks. But we're throwing the charts up there. We're bringing the hot charts in. We're looking at supports and resistances, entries, exits. We are making money over there. So I invite you people, come on over to the Discord group. We're not trying to get into your pocket. We're trying to get into your heads. We just want to give you some education. Link is down below. It says invite from the wizard. Come on, bring it on. All right, so we're going to take a look at plug. This came from, I'm going to guess this is a Spanish Mexican name, 01 Tawano. I'm guessing there. So we're looking at plug power, ticker PLUG. Finished today at $1.94, and it tells me we are at even from where we were yesterday at this point in time. I didn't look at the chart. I don't know if we've been up or down today or what we've done. We're going to let Taylor fill us in on that. It is a stock on the major exchange, which comes with benefits compared to those OTC stocks. First off, they're free to trade. There's no transaction fees. You don't have to figure that in before you sell something. There's a lot more money and a lot more volume on the major exchange. And that's the 2 ingredients you need when you're trading. There's a lot more rules up there, which is what you need to keep your investments safe. And you can trade pre-market, aftermarket, extra opportunities for you folks. And there are some of the biggest bounces I have ever seen in those periods of time. And you don't need special permission or special qualifications to trade those periods. Just get in there and start trading. 2 things I'll say. It's the wild, wild west. Little bit of volume can respond totally different after market. You'll see some huge runs. Second thing, most important, don't forget to change the time period for your order. It's not a day trade. You're going to get something all fixed up and going to do it, and it doesn't happen. It's because you've got a day trade. It's an extended period, extended hours, whatever your platform uses. Get that in the box. So we had, let's see, plug finished today. Did it just move? It just moved. We're at 193. We're down about 0.18%. So what is plug all about? Well, let's see. We've got a description over here. I'm losing my highlights. I hate that. Plug is building an end-to-end green hydrogen ecosystem from production, storage, and delivery to energy generation. They are creating the first commercially viable market for hydrogen fuel cell technology. The company has deployed more than 69,000 fuel cell systems and over 250 fueling stations, more than anyone else in the world, and is the largest buyer of liquid hydrogen. Those are all big facts to consider. These are some of their customers. Some of them are big, some of them are small, but they got a lot of them. And I'm sure they're doing quite well with people like Amazon, Boeing, NASA, BMW, FedEx, Home Depot. What else did I find for this company? All right, looking at some news here. We don't have a lot of news to actually consider. Plug Power appoints Colin Angle, former CEO of iRobot. That's a company I've heard of. He's come to the board of directors. He's probably, well, he's not the CEO of iRobot anymore. You can hold a position in another company and be director with other companies. You see that all the time. But he's a director. This is somebody that's going to help the company by giving them advice. And the last piece of information we got here came from a most recent news press. This came out August 8th. This is them listing off their milestones from their most recent financial that just came out. Plug Power reported revenue of $143 million in the second quarter of 2024. The company recorded a net loss of $262 million in Q2. Ow! That's like just shy of double what they pulled in. Don't like that. Let's see. Plug Power also recorded earnings per share, a loss of 36 cents per share in Q2. That's got to hurt. And they improved their hydrogen margins, so they should be making more money. The company deployed over $70 million worth of electrolyzer systems in Q2. Plug Power anticipates its 2024 revenue range to be between $825 million to $925 million. So by the end of the year, they're expecting to be in between there, which is a pretty big gap. That's $100 million difference there. They also have a hydrogen plant joint venture with Olin. They're making strong progress on the new hydrogen plant, which is being developed through a joint venture with Olin Corporation in Louisiana and is expected to commence commissioning September, just around the corner. And they will be generating liquid hydrogen starting Q4 of 2024. Plug Power has secured a 7.5 gigawatt global BEDP contract, and they are working with the Department of Energy for a loan. Plug Power is progressing the DOE loan, which aims to support the expansion of its green hydrogen initiatives and infrastructure for up to 6 more sites. That's a big thing. So what was the relative volume around Plug today? Dropped a little over 1/3 what she normally does. She's been averaging about 39 million shares a day over the last 30 days. Today, she did about 24 million. Share structure for Plug. Kind of high. We're up there at 79 million. We're just closing in on 1 billion shares. They've got 1.7 billion. So they could put 1 billion or more on the market if they wanted to. That's how these companies raise money. Without the big investors, they come to the little investors, put more shares out there. I don't know what the float is. They don't tell us what the insiders own, so I can't even calculate it. So it could be anywhere up to 879 million, or it could be considerably less, depending on how many shares the insiders own. Market cap, well, that's pretty decent. With all them shares, we're up at 1.7 billion for this penny stock. Financials for Plug. All right, they have been really turning on the steam when it comes to revenues. 4 years ago, they were not making money. Right from the get-go, they were losing money. $93 million they lost, and then they had expenses on top of the losses, so they were like $500 million down in 2020. Revenues are kicking. They were up to $500 million in 2021, $700 million in 22, closing in on $900 million in 2023. But look, the more money they make, the more money they lose. That is not a good formula. They got to tweak that fast. Quarterlies, any better? No, they had a low here of 120 million in a quarter, and they jumped to 260 a year ago. But not once have they ever gone into the green. This is all, they ought to make this red instead of black, so we know that's bad. That's all in the red right now. Balance sheet for the company. Remembering the 3 zeros, we got 3 zeros on all these charts. If I didn't mention that, I can't remember. We got 285 million basically in the bank, quite a lot of money. Wow. 4.7 billion in assets. Oh, let's hope the liabilities are lower, a lot lower. 1.7 billion in liabilities. So we are holding virtually $3 billion in stockholder equity in this company. Now, what were we just looking at for shares? Just under a billion, 890 million, something like that. So round it off to a billion. Take all the shares and divide it into there. That's how you get your average price per share. You take all your shares and divide it into how much you paid for them. Well, do that. What you end up with is $3 for a price. That is a price for the stock based on assets. There's a lot of things to consider when you're looking at the price, but that's one of them. Take a look at the disclosures for the company. See if I had any notes here. Makes my jaunt quick. No, I don't have any notes. So this Form 4 probably does not have a code right here. Underneath here, I would like to see an S or a P. That's a sale or a purchase. Those are the Form 4s I'm interested in. So this doesn't matter to me. 8K is a material change. I look for that big bold line to give me a quick glance. We're changing management here. And then the other Form 4 here, again, we don't have an S or a P. We got Fs. I don't know what they're for. You want to get an idea, read explanation of responses. Tendered to issuer to satisfy tax withholdings. So they had to sell some shares here to pay off taxes. So if this was a buy or a sell, you'd have a P or an S, how many shares and how much they paid, and come straight on over and you can see how many shares they had before and after. So this is real good when you see the Form 4s, especially buys and purchases. Outside of that, nothing going on over here. Most of the information is going to be on the chart, and I'd like to see that because I really have no clue what's going on with Plug. So let me dive back on over here and give Taylor a seat. There you go, Taylor.
Okay, so this is something that I actually had because I drawn already because I actually used to trade this a long time ago. And as you can see, since the end of 2022, we have really been coming down. This is the daily chart, and this the 200 EMA. You can see we've hit here as resistance several times, almost here, and we have just come straight down. We have a 52-week low of 191, which was hit yesterday or today and a couple days ago. Let me switch over. This is just blown up a little more, still the daily chart. And then the 52-week high was exactly a year ago, because it's just been coming down, $8.98. So that's quite a drop. So let's just blow this up a little bit. You can see we have not been doing very well. These are regular candles. See this big drop here at the end of 2023, just last year. It gapped down between November 9th and 10th. That was an earnings report. You can see how terrible that was. They must not have said anything else very good. Ouch. All of these earnings reports are red. You can see just earnings and revenue.
Is that a pop, that red bar all the way up to the 200 underneath?
Yeah, something must have happened. We had it opened at 480 or 490 and then closed right back down at 343. That was on May 14th of this year. But Let's see what the 4-hour looked like. I'm not sure. So it looks like we just have a big spike. It looks like it happened pre-market. Could have happened pre-market. Not entirely sure, but you can see what's been going on these last few days or a couple weeks. This is showing us come all the way down
on
here.
On May 14th, they received a conditional commitment for a $1.6 billion loan.
Oh, okay. Well, then that explains that. It was like a,
yeah, you throw $1 billion around on any OTC stock, it catches people's attention.
Yeah, and so since we have a lot of,
God, it doesn't look good anymore, though. She is just falling away from the.
Yeah, even just this week, look at these stair steps down. And now this kind of again looks like another like bear flag coming out here. It's just not good. This is the 1-hour chart, by the way, and this is the floor, the 52-week low, 191, and it's just right there. I mean, we've seen it so many times, like, oh, well, this might be a buying opportunity. Well, all-time low leads to another all-time
Well, all
low.
we can say catalyst wise is one, they do have a lot of stockholder equity, just about $3 billion.
Okay.
They're losing money. Now, this is the thing. They are generating money. They are really bringing a lot of money, almost $1 billion, right? But they aren't making a profit. Well, all they got to do is tweak that. Companies that are losing money, all they do is tweak them. You don't get rid of a money generator. You just find a way for it to make profit. So I'm sure they're going to start tweaking on this. And they got the DOE, Department of Energy, coming in to give them a loan to build 6 more facilities. That's going to help as well. So as she's falling, look for a floor. This doesn't sound like a bad company. It just looks like the chart's in a bad place right now.
It
But it
is.
could be a buying opportunity.
Yeah, I definitely remember trading this at like the $11 range, and we're just nowhere near that.
And that's back before they had what they got now. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was in, I believe that was in like 2021, 2022. And then like last year we had $9 range, and it's just been going down ever since.
Yeah, it doesn't look good to me. It looks like she's still dropping. Do you have a support down there she's floating over that we could look for a bounce on?
Let's see. Just about right now, but that's still all-time low, like this 194 level.
All-time low. So
This
that's
is
the
we're
bubble I'd be
only
looking
just
for.
we're only just a few cents above the all-time low, or 52-week low at least.
I would look for an all-time low, and if you see green bars come off of that bubble instantly, that to me would be a good entry time, because stocks that have value bounce fast off of all-time lows.
I mean,
Stocks
all-time
that
low,
don't just
we're way down
falling
here.
or go sideways.
Yeah,
So it's worth a watch if you like plug. I like hydrogen. I think hydrogen's going to be king. There's a lot of companies popping up now generating hydrogen, delivering hydrogen, creating hydrogen converters. So to me, this is a tight market. I would be looking at all the hydrogen companies, and this one would be on my list, especially since she has value. $3 billion in stockholder equity. The chart is just a buying opportunity, in my opinion. All right, let's move on to that next stock then. Oh, that's on me. I'm so used to you taking care of me. All right, our next stock. This is PRST. We've talked about PRST. I've even made videos about this. This one came to me from Velmore. Thank you, Velmore. PRST just got delisted from the NASDAQ here recently. She's now down on the OTC market. She was non-compliant in a lot of things. She was non-compliant for market value, price, all kinds of things. As you can see, she's way down here on the pink right now. Let's see. PRST, Presto Automation, finished today just a smidge under a penny, which if she's on a climb could be a great entry. From a penny to 2 cents is 100% gains. To 3 cents is 200% gains. Those are fast, quick gains. She dropped today about 23%. She is on the pink tier, and coming down here, she hasn't got anything. She's got no green ticks over here to look at right now. So, do you know what PRST is all about? No. Well, we're going to jump on over here to one of my favorite sites now. This is Stock Titan. It's an AI site that works with news. Works with news and the impact the news has on the stock and on the investor sentiment. And it goes through the news and writes its own blurbs on these companies. It's like, man, I love that. So I've been using this site a lot. And they've got a momentum scanner, folks, right up here in the tools. This shows you stocks dropping or popping as it's happening. You're looking for hot stocks. This is where you need to be. I'm finding all sorts of hot stocks we're talking about on the Discord. And then we get onto the supports and resistances and start making money, jumping up. So they tell us here, I know it's a, sorry about that. I didn't make it purple. Presto Technologies is a leading provider of AI and automation solutions tailored for the restaurant industry. Known for its enterprise-grade software, Presto aims to revolutionize restaurant operations by decreasing labor costs, improving staff productivity, increasing revenues, and enhancing the guest experience. Presto flagship's product, Presto Voice. Drive-up service. That's not a person you're talking to. That's AI. And I don't know if this company does it. I've looked at a few of these, but Any voice will work. You can use celebrity voices, Santa's voice, Scooby-Doo's voice. Any voice will work, right? Another significant product offered by Presto is the Presto Touch, which is the one that's on the table. A lot of different restaurants are using these now. This company has one as well. They were incorporating touch pay as well, so that you could pay right from these. As you're going to see, they're pulling out of that. For some reason, they just don't want to get into it. Turned out to be more hassle than it was worth. The company recently completed a financing round, raising approximately $2.1 million. And they have decided to wind down its touch to pay. I knew I read it somewhere. At the table product, which plans to exit the business line by June. So they're probably already out of that. Going through their filings, what I discovered here is that they are selling 8.7 million shares of common stock, but it's not a public offering. No, it is not. These shares are being issued as in connection with the commitment from Triton to purchase from time to time up to $5 million worth of shares. And a lot of these contracts, it's when the company wants them to buy them. They just go to Triton and say, you said you buy 5 million? We need you to buy a few million of them right now. We're a little shy. Boink, you got an instant sale just like that. The other piece of news is not good. And I want to thank Mike Sipa. He brought this up over on, I believe it was Twitter. I'd almost overlooked this. And this is really what we needed to look at. I posted news on this. The company had an obligation with its lenders. I don't know all the details, but generally speaking, they had to raise $6 million in 1 month. They had to do $2 million by this date, $2 million by that date, and $2 million by another date. They're striking out, folks. It isn't working. As of August 9th, 2024, the company had virtually no cash on hand, including cash necessary to meet its payroll obligations. In order to meet its immediate obligations, including payroll, on August 12th, the company basically took out a loan for $650,000, using $100,000 of that to pay off fees and expenses, leaving $550,000. The company was required to raise $2 million of gross proceeds on or before August 1st. The company raised $838 as of August 6th. And received deferral until August 15th of the aforementioned deadline condition. The company failed to make such payments, and as a result, the company currently has uncured defaults under the loan agreement. Absent such defaults, the company would be required to raise $3.2 million now before August 15th. They're missing it, which they did not do. All they had was that $550 that they got up here from that loan. They tell us down here the lenders have indicated to the company they do not intend to grant any further forbearance for the company's defaults. So what's going to happen? Well, there are some details here. I haven't got deep into them, but this is what I've seen on the surface. They are converting senior convertible notes into shares. Since the company cannot pay the debt with cash, they're going to have to pay the debt with shares. So that sounds like a good thing. That's a debt conversion. You've got a company now becoming an investor in the company. The problem is they've got to create these shares to give to them, and it's a big note. It looks to be, don't quote me on this, I haven't had time to go through it all, but it appears these anti-dilution adjustments will entitle investors to receive an additional 4.2 billion shares and 9.8 billion shares underlying those convertible notes and warrants to acquire shares. Folks, we're looking at 14 billion more shares. That's some serious dilution, if that is the way I'm understanding it. So that is the situation, and they're failing. Whatever the penalty is, they're not cutting the mustard right now, and they are hurting for cash in a real big way. What was the relative volume around Presto today? They're down, dropping from 36 million down to 20 million shares. The share structure is what I'm after. Oh my God. I'm hoping I'm reading that wrong, folks. We got an outstanding share count of 105 million. You're really going to throw billions of shares out there? Come on. The price of the stock right now is at 009. You put billions of shares out there, that's going to be 0001. I'm telling you, folks, that's just overkill. I would dive into the details. Whatever it is, there is the big fear that the senior convertible notes are being converted into shares. Whatever that number is, I haven't found any other numbers than those. But whatever it is, that's the fear right now. So they tell us we have an outstanding share count at this time of 105 million, market cap of 1.3 million. Financials, what is their situation here? Well, the last 2 years they've been bringing in money, 30 million 2022, 26 million 2023. But look, goodness gracious, you're making less than $500,000 on 30 million, and it's just a box that talks through the drive-up window. Come on, something is wrong here, definitely. Over the last year, the quarterly reports, they're doing between 4.5 and 6 million, but they're not pulling in any profits. You're not going to stay in business long if you keep that up. Balance sheet, they got 4.2 million in the bank, 20 million in assets. Ouch. 78 million in liabilities. So us, the investors, we are holding 58 million in deficit. Remember what I told you about taking all the shares and dividing them into the equity or deficit? Well, if you divide into a negative number, you end up with a negative number. That's a positive number. So be happy. We've got a positive number right now. Taking a look at the disclosures for PRST. Let's see my notes. This helps. No, we got nothing over there. Oh, yeah, it was that FWP. I almost missed that. It didn't look like anything I recognized, and that's where all that information is about the senior convertible notes. The 8K wasn't anything that jumped out at me. Change of directors or something. We got bigger things to consider. We're talking about compensation of $350,000 a year. Well, how about we start cutting the compensation down? I mean, goodness gracious. They made $650,000 last year, 2022, and they got one person, Ms. Myers, making $350,000. Come on, that's half the profit. I don't like companies where they want to take all the money away from us. Look, they shouldn't get a paycheck until their cash flow is positive. That's a company that's interested in the investors. All right, so it looks like everything we got going on here. They are in hot water. They've got a hot product, but as I said, I think there's other companies that are doing what they do. AI conversation is all this is, and I'm sure any other company could implement this very, very, very easily. So for them to survive, they're going to have to tweak whatever is screwing up their profit margin right now.
Did you happen to mention something from February, like February 27th this year?
February 27th. Well, they didn't give us any news here to check out, so let's see if we got anything.
I know it's kind of far, but
well, we're lucky because they do give us all the filings. We normally don't get gaps there. February 27th?
Yeah.
No, February 29th, which wouldn't affect the 27th whatsoever. And then the 20th, we had an 8K come out. I mean, there could have been a delayed effect here. It was a purchase agreement for $6 million worth of shares. Looks like it was good news. They were getting an investor to come in, but that was darn near a week before. So nothing around the date you're looking at. All right, let's take a look at that chart and you can show me what you are looking at.
Sure.
Ta-da!
Okay, so here's the daily chart. I'm going to zoom in here in a second. I just wanted to show the general trend of what's been going on. This is the daily on regular candles. So here's the 27th. Let's see, we opened here at 36 cents and closed at 56 cents. The next day it opened at 62 cents. So that's why I'm kind of like, well, that was a pretty big jump even from what had been going on previously, which was a low of about 15 cents. So that's a pretty big jump. Now we're all the way down here at below a penny. So that's very significantly better. But let me just zoom in here. We're on the 4-hour chart now with regular candles, I believe. Yeah. Whoops. Crap. I do that every time. So it looks like let's see, its low was 002, but I had this as support, which is 0033, and it kind of was consolidating for several days, like between the 14th and 27th, so like a good couple weeks there, until we started jumping Wednesday into today. We came right back down, so it reached the 50 on the 4-hour chart. It's coming back down. The 200, let's see, I don't even know. Oh, it's
That's
way up here
strange
at 5.
that it's bouncing now, because that bad news came out on the 12th, which was
Okay.
quite a while ago, and we don't have any good news. So I don't know what the heck she's bouncing for.
Well, the 12th was over here, so nothing really. I mean, it's just been
Right.
kind of down here, so nothing really exciting. I mean, it came down.
Yeah, it was bad news. It looks like, as far as I'm concerned, they're probably going to file bankruptcy. I mean, if you don't have
Yeah.
cash, you can't pay your bills, you're going to dilute the crap out of your stock. I could see that around the corner. So why she wants to buy, but we see that stocks
Let's see.
that announce bankruptcy, stocks that are going to fall down to the OTC just before they die, jump. It's the last act of something or other, because you'll see a pop just before they fall.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what we're looking at.
These oscillators aren't looking too good either. You can see it's been going up and down. Let's see what 1 hour looks like. All right, so here's what's been going on. This was the jump. Look at that, right to the 200 on the 1 hour.
Yep. Had no intentions of even getting over it a mini bit. Not a bit.
Wow. I mean, that is like perfect resistance right there.
Perfect rejection.
Yeah, rejection. We'll call it rejection instead of resistance. I'm trying to use the more positive term.
No, that's not a positive. That's not a positive chart. It was looking good.
Versus rejection. Okay.
That would have been a stock I thought was doing something. If I didn't look at the news, I would have thought, oh, this is a nice chart. But looking at the news to back up the chart, I would have said, no, man, this isn't right. Why is this running?
Yeah. So yeah, this is just the 1 hour. Let's just switch over to Heikinashi, see what's going on. I mean, we just were right in the 9 all the way here. It came back down to this 21, and I don't know. I mean, we could just fall. This could be. I'll see. I still haven't fixed it. Remind me after the show to fix these Fibonacci tool. It's all messed up. So anyway,
this solid bar is on the 20.
It looks like it's come back down to like 50% of from here to here. So if I were to pop on a
50% mark is a solid. You want to stay above the top half of the surge. And I like to see the solid part of the bar when it hits a SMA, only the wick go underneath. Normally that is like a bounce, but if the bar goes under, that's normally a push through and it just keeps going. So there's a possibility of a bounce here, but I don't like the news. I don't like what we're reading, so I wouldn't put my money in it simply because it's got cause to fall. So I'm not going to get into a stock that I don't feel confident about the company. Just wouldn't do that. Yeah, so that looks like it has a chance of a bounce, but after the bounce, I get the feeling she's going to come down. So in my opinion, I wouldn't touch this stock. That's just my opinion. If you're invested, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. We got a lot of stocks right now that are falling, most of them for no good reason. I think this one has a good reason for falling. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that chart?
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it. All right, jumping back to the next stock is Agba. We haven't talked about Agba in quite a while, way back when they first were getting involved in this Triller merger, which is what it's all about. Agba is involved in a merger. You'd have thought it closed by now with Triller. Let's see. Any information here? Right. And we want to remember that Agba has a warrant. Ticker AGBAW. Normally just putting a W behind the ticker will give you the warrant, or a /WS will give you the warrant. Most, not all, stocks on the major exchanges have warrants. It's an easy way for companies to make money because they don't have to give up anything. It's really the stockholders that give it up. When they sell rights and warrants, they are selling coupons to buy shares cheap. So they get paid to sell those coupons. And then when people cash in the coupons, they got to again pay the company cheap for more shares of stock that they create and put into the pile of the float. So warrants are coupons people like to trade. it is a stock. You can get in, get out like anything else. And when the stock starts to move, the company stock, 10, 20%, in a lot of cases, you'll see that bloody warrant, which is always a penny stock. You will see it move faster and harder. It will usually go 4, 5, 10 times farther in percentages than the stock will. Stock moves 10%, 20%. Don't be surprised if you get a 200% pop out of your warrant. Problem with warrants is there isn't any liquidity. The liquidity is on and off. Volume today, no volume for a few days. But when it comes, it moves. And initially, you'll have a big jump because you'll have a bid up here at 2 cents and an ask at 10 cents, and it'll jump from 2 cents to 10 cents. 500% gains. But you look, the bid didn't move. It's still at 2 cents. Somebody's going to have to bid again, and it'll come in at 6, 7, somewhere in there. And then the bid will move to 6 or 7. It won't go all the way to the 10. But when that spread closes up and starts getting tight, you start seeing that thing run. Sell as it's rising, folks. And you don't put a lot of money into warrants, 50, 100 bucks. That's all you really need. Take your gains, get out. So when AGBA starts to move, take a look at the warrant. She could be worth an investment or a play at that time. AGBA finished today at $2.55, was up almost 12%. She's on the NASDAQ, so she comes with all those benefits. So what exactly does AGBA do? I got a description down here. They tell us that AGBA is a leading one-stop financial supermarket. We don't mean grocery store. We mean a huge, giant supermarket for financial services and healthcare products in Hong Kong. They are trusted by over 400,000 individual corporate customers. But what is it that Triller does? Well, Triller is a social media app that deals with music. Primarily, they do a lot of things there. They've got chat and all sorts of stuff, but primarily it's so you can make your own music videos so that you can put your stuff out there or create stuff. Me, I could make a music video, do 6 takes, record me singing this song, change my clothes every time I do it. Then I give all those clips to Triller. Triller's AI will edit it for me. Pull out a clip here, a clip here, a clip here, put it all together so that the song is perfect and it looks like a one take. I mean, looks professional. You know how long that would take a human being to do? How much work that is? Take it from a guy who edits videos. That would be a lot of bloody work. This thing just does it for you like that. And they're expecting that this is going to make them a lot of money. So that's what we are looking at here. And basically all they're telling us in the news is that they are moving forward. Did I have a piece of news here? I did up here. AGBA Group entered into an amended and restated standby equity purchase agreement with Yorkville and Triller. The merger of AGBA and Triller enters into its final phase of completion. It also further cements the strategic relationship between AGBA and Yorkville, a leading global investment fund providing growth and acquisition capital to public companies. We always like to have those around. In another sign of investor confidence in the prospects of the company, AGBA is proud to share that it has been listed by Forbes as one of the top 10 best performing stocks in 2024. That's debatable, but Forbes said it, so we'll just let it lie. What was the relative volume around AGBA today? Yikes. She's under the radar over on NASDAQ with less than 1 million shares as an average, less than 1 million shares today. Share structure for AGBA, we are currently at 81 million shares. That ain't bad. Anything under 100 million is good. And since our float can't be higher than the outstanding share count, it's not going to be bad either. And since we don't know what it is, that's the best we can say. Market cap, 186 million. Financials for AGBA, are they making any money? No. We got nothing annually. No. We got nothing quarterly. Why? Why does AGBA not have any money? Forget about Triller. Where's AGBA's money? Supermarket over in Hong Kong. Got all these financial services and health products more than anybody else. Got over 400,000 subscribers, customers. Where's the money? I don't get that. That just seems kooky to me. Balance sheet for the company. Remembering our 3 zeros? We got 15.5 million in the bank, 89 million in assets, and of course, 97 million in liabilities. So we're holding about 8 million in deficit in this company. I don't know what's going on here. I was quite excited about this merger, but you know, folks, when you see news about a merger, you better tack on 6 months to it closing. And here's something I've learned. You can just chalk this up as something you don't have to go through. First time you hear any news about a merger, that's going to be the biggest bounce. Whatever piece of news is next, we signed a letter of intent after our memorandum of understanding. The next one will be half the size of the first one. And when they finally close the deal, woohoo, you get a little hiccup if you're lucky. And then, saddest part of all, it seems like a lot of these stocks fall as soon as it's closed. As soon as it's done and solidified, bam, they take a drop. I can't explain that. All right, let's see then. I do believe we were there. We got all that covered. We need to check out our disclosures. See if we have anything current over here. Got an S8. S8 came out today. Ooh, I didn't see this. Required for the section, registration. What are we doing here? We putting shares on the market? Come on. Bump-a-da-da-dump. ABBA Group Holding, registration statement, S8. Goodness gracious. I can't get to my information here. An award agreement. Looks like they're moving some shares around somewhere. Maybe restricted stock. Some sort of payment scheme. And you got to remember, the final closing of this deal is going to be getting everybody paid, setting up directors' pay, getting everybody their offices. We're probably going to see a bunch of filings coming out just to finalize all of these things, not adding anything onto the company, just making the bed and tucking in the corners, things like that. All right, let's take a look now at the chart for AGBA. Ta-da! Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, so we've looked at this 3 times, twice in April, once in May, and you know I love this where it lines up with what I already had drawn. I didn't have to do any extra work. So these white arrows are when we looked at it. This line here, this gray line from, I guess I drew it on in May. So this is at around 215. This is what I was looking at an approximate support. And if we zoom in here, you can see this is actually really, really respected that line quite a bit. Like, look, there's here. Oh,
yeah, it's either magnetized underneath or sitting on top.
Yep. So that worked out really well. But see, we're kind of trapped where we were before in between this 215, this 275 area. So this is the next resistance that I had already identified. I'm guessing it would be still good. It looks like it is. You can see it's hit several times here. It could be on its way up to see if we can test this line at 275. So let's zoom in here. Yeah, see how it's kind of like you said, it was magnetized to this line here at 215. So now we've actually come up above this. This is the 4-hour chart.
That doesn't look bad. That shows something I want to watch. You're breaking the 200. You got a big bar. You got a big volume spurt. Okay, I'm watching you now.
Yeah. So
look at that next bar. It's way up top, that very last bar. It didn't drop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is this looks like it's after hours activity. Yeah, right here. This is the 1 hour. Now the candles are getting a little smaller because we're still on regular candles, but that's okay. We can at least see what's going on. This is the 1 hour. We're still in the middle of this. Still need to try to get up here, but you can see all these are lined up now. 9, 21, 50, 200. This is getting kind of flat. This looks really nice. I like this one. I like how this is kind of bull flagging out.
Yep. It's still on the uptrend.
Yeah, this is a nice one. I like this.
Yeah, that's one I'd watch tomorrow after that big burst. Now, if you're not getting in, if you see a run pre-market, folks, and it comes right to the bell, expect a dip at the bell. People that aren't trading pre-market are going to take profit. If it's been climbing and it's a lot higher than where it was the day before, people are going to take profit. So wait for it to drop. find the floor and bounce. And on that bounce, not on the floor, on the bounce, when the wheels are taken off the runway and it's in the air, that's when you jump into your seat on the plane. You jump on when it's in the air, not on the ground. This could be one to watch tomorrow after the drop, because that's a big run right now. Something's going to happen after that.
Yep, I like this one. I'm going to probably watch this one tomorrow.
Agba. Yeah, and it's not like she really has any catalysts. She just has a lot of people who are eager for this thing to freaking close. And watch when it closes. I'll bet you she falls. Not for any good reason, just because that's what happens these days. Should we move on to the next one, Taylor?
Yes.
Amen, sister. We are on our way. We are now looking at ticker BDPT, Bio Additives. This came from the Underdog. I am so tempted to always do my little tidbit there.
Switch your screen.
Oh, thank you. My lady. My friend. Better. Yes, this is BDPT, not that chart. This is Bio Additives. As I said, this came from the Underdog, and we got some juicy tidbits to share with you here. Bio Additives is at a very cheap price. She is at 0008. Obviously on the OTC at that price. She's up just a little over 14%. She's on the bottom tier of the OTC. The pink is the riskiest tier. It's risky because there's not a lot of validated information. You get lots of information down here, but you got to take it with a grain of salt. Most of it comes from the management. It's not filings. So unless you personally know the management, don't trust everything they say. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm saying your money's worth more than just trusting strangers with it. They do have the two pieces of validated information you do look for with the pink: transfer agent verified and a verified profile. They have been checked out by the OTCmarkets.com. That is one of their jobs that they do, and they've checked out here. They say they're a shell risk. This normally means they're in business, but they're not generating any revenues yet, compared to a shell company who's not in business, not making any money. They're waiting for a deal. Well, a lot of times a shell risk now means they made a deal with some other company that had assets. And when they bought that company or that acquisition, those assets became business because they acquired. So even though they're not doing any business, a transaction can constitute business, and all of a sudden it's a shell risk. So what is this company about? Bioadaptive's core business is to investigate, market, and distribute natural plant, algal, and mushroom-based products and medical devices that improve health and wellness for humans and animals. For the most part, they're a holistic medicine company. They don't really deal with the FDA, though they are getting on the border of that now. Most of their products don't need FDA approval because they're not making any claims. They're wellness products. They seem to help this, and people say it helps that, so that they really can't make any claims. So what did I learn about this company? Well, I better have learned more than that. I got the juicy tidbits because when I was jumping around looking for information, there is no real information to get. And I went through the financial by using a search, 2024. It's a pretty big financial. And you can see over here how many 2024s there were. And I was just going through them looking for some current information. Well, I found this. I probably wouldn't have found it otherwise. Effective November 15th, 2021, the company entered into a marketing agreement for an FDA-cleared Class 2 medical device, the lung flute. I've posted news about this lung flute. You put some fluid in it and you breathe it, and it's supposed to help clean your lungs out. They tell us here that, where is it? Seems I missed something here. They also have initiated new product lines for humans. They have products for animals. They've got one called Zeranovia for healthy weight loss, and another one called Accelera, which is regenerative stem cell activator, and a third one, Winovia, to reduce the loss of lean muscle mass while dieting. Now they tell us down here the company signed a dealer's agreement with Pixelcondo out of Europe for their AI body composition analysis technology for U.S. distribution, getting into AI now. Major launching effort is in second quarter and third quarter 2024. Now, it seems to me I missed something here. By golly, where did I see that? Maybe it's somewhere else. I thought they had lost a deal here. So they got the lung flute. They've had that for a while. In April 2024, the company negotiated with the sole owner of the product to assume their existing stock and their rights to all future activities on this item. So it sounds like they got total ownership of a medical device that is FDA cleared, the lung flute. I have talked about that before. And they've got those three other products, and they just got into AI. And a little more information from my favorite site, Stock Titan. The last piece of news, because they don't show us any news over there at the OTC, Bioadditives Inc. welcomes Gimhana Disnayaki to its board of directors. If he's somebody special, that could be good news. But that was all the way back in May, their last piece of news. So what was the relative volume around the company? Try again. Down. She's normally doing 8.5 million shares a day. Today she did 6.6 million, almost 6.7. Share structure for bioadditives, adaptives, lots of shares. We got 1.23 million. They have 1.23 billion, and they have 1.25 billion. They are virtually slammed out here. They don't have any more here. They can't put any on the market if they need money. So they're in a hard place. I would expect one of two things to happen here. They either do a reverse stock split to get those shares back in and push that price up, or they do another, what would be the other thing? Stock split, or had a brain fart there. That happens. I worry about brain farts and having to take a pee in the middle of the show. These are my biggest fears. And I just had a brain fart. Whew. All right, so we've got a lot of shares here. They could do a reverse stock split, or they could do authorized shares. They could just ask for more. They could do that. If they do that, you know they're going to do a public offering. That would be the whole purpose to it. Unless they're going to use them for currency. A lot of companies use their stock as currency to make deals with other companies. All stock transactions. We kind of like those transactions if it doesn't dilute the stock too much. Market cap is under $1 million, 862,000. What sort of finances are they bringing in? Not a lot. And I did, as I was showing you, dive into the most recent financials. These are all current numbers we're looking at here. They aren't breaking $30,000 ever. In the last 4 years, never got over $30,000. At the end of 2023, they did get to keep $10,000 out of that $28,000 that they made. I doubt that was enough to pay anybody. And then they've lost it all. So again, this is a company that's supposed to have products. They're supposed to have this flute. They've got, where is the money? How can you have a variety of products and devices and not have any revenues? This dumbfounds me. I just don't know where to go with it. It makes me feel that the companies are lying to me. I'm seeing a lot of words telling me a lot of things, but without the money, I don't believe any of that's happening, because money is the evidence of activity. They say they're doing something. Show me the money. Balance sheet. Look at here. We got no money in the bank. $8,000 assets. Almost $2 million, which isn't a big number, but when all you have is $8,000 in assets and you got $2 million in liabilities, how many of us could survive on that sort of financial situation? And we are the ones holding it, folks. $1.9 million. That's on our heads, not theirs. So you wonder why the price is so low. She was up over 14% today. Why? All right, let's see if we have any disclosures here, because that's going to be it. Quarterly report, last 2019. All right, here's the grand thing. This is nice. Right back here, we were doing quarterly reports, disclosures, no CPAs involved. These are 10Ks, 10Qs. Now, I don't know if a CPA is involved, but these are working with the SEC now. You file these with the SEC. You don't file disclosures with the SEC. So these are legitimate and they're going to have more information in them. So we've got a few of them here. They did file late on the 15th of August. They said they'd have it out in 5 days. That's what filing late, not filing my 10Q on time. They'll give you 5 more days. They got it done in 4 days. There it is right there. That's what I was into. So if you want to get more information, maybe do what I did, put in 2024 and just start going down, ding, 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 and see if you see anything that catches your eye. Okie dokie. Let's go check out the chart for BDPT. Whew.
Okay. So this is just an overview. We've looked at this before, but I don't have the date written down. It was this part that I highlighted where we were just consolidating for a bit. It must have been when we were either coming up here or we were up here, but this line, I'm not sure why, but so it must have been either here or we were up here. At 0028, I had that line. Now these I just now drew on, so let's zoom into that. So this is the daily chart starting from from like February on. I marked off like your favorite 001, which is up here, and then just 468, 00468. So you can tell this is just kind of a barcodey kind of chart.
Yeah, the triple zeros, it's almost redundant to put in supports and resistances.
Yeah,
because there's no middle point between 6 and 7. If it moves from 6, it goes to 7 in 99% of the time.
I'm just marking it off to show that.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody else. It's silly because you're going to end up with a line at every number. That is.
Yeah, I'm just showing like where we've been going. I mean, the majority of these candles are between 0004 and 6. There's been a couple of pops, up to
which is a 50% gain if you can get in at 4 and get out at 6.
Yeah, if you're able to buy it and you're able to sell it at this tippy top, like
right,
0008. But since this is an OTC stock, it's kind of hard to do that. I've noticed that.
We just had a breakout. Before. She was underneath that 200 solid, rejecting it, and then all of a sudden she pops right through it, which is what we're looking for. That looks good for a 000. That does look good.
Yeah, so now I zoomed in.
Cup and handle. Look at that cup and handle playing out perfectly.
Right here?
Yeah, perfect. Ideal.
Yeah, I switched to the Heikinashi candles and moved to 4-hour chart. So it's a little easier to see now.
It's prettier.
Right there and there. Yeah, we can even draw it out if you want. You can see it here, then down, and then up.
Yeah, so we might even get some more up because that's not much of an up on a cup and handle.
Yeah, and I'm not sure because of the way that these the way that this kind of chart with the 000s work. I don't know how much farther, but we really need to get above. I'd like to see this go back up to this 001 because it's been a while. There's just been a couple of pops. We have not seen this 001 since February. It's been a while.
And there was no way it was going to. When your 200 is falling as hard as it is there's no way it's going to break through and start climbing. You just can't do it. You can't launch a rocket on the side of a mountain. You got to wait till you're on flat ground. Yeah, that does look pretty. I'm not much into 000 stocks because the charts are normally picket fences and there's just no draw to them. But that looks pretty enticing. She is over the 200. Finally, she is starting to climb. She's not got any volume. That's the one thing she's missing.
Right. Yeah, it's not missing. It's not having any volume.
200.
This is 1 hour.
Climbing? The 200?
This is the 1 hour chart. I moved down to the 1 hour. So it's just it's basically flat for now.
A little climb.
Haven't seen much volume at all, really. It's been since probably April there was a little bit more volume, but lately, no, not really.
Yeah, breakout will bring in more volume if people are watching the stock, if they can see some value in it. Revenues would bring in value. We got to get this company making money, for God's sake. Okie doke, 000 chart. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to our next stock. This one is OVID, Ovid Therapeutics. Ovid Therapeutics came from Valentino. Thank you. Let's see here. He gave me a choice. This is the one I chose because I took a glance at the charts. I was looking at the information, but that's a lot of extra due diligence to compare two stocks. So I just look at the chart, see which one looks hotter to me. Leaned on that one. Turned out to be a biotech company. Yeah. I hate talking about biotech companies. I can silently read them better than I can out loud. Ovid Therapeutics finished today at $1.20. She was down a little over 6% today. She too is on the NASDAQ. Let's see what we learned about this company out of New York. They are a biopharmaceutical company that is advancing a pipeline of novel targeted small molecule candidates that modulate the intrinsic and extrinsic factors involved in neuronal hyperexcitability. Whatever the heck that is. This is for the potential treatment of epilepsy and other psychiatric conditions. I may be in the market for this. What else can we learn here? All right, now I want you to take notice. What is the name of this drug here? OV350, OV329. So they've got a pipeline. Lots of different drugs they're working with. I don't know how many, but we can see here, we've got a lot of different numbers. Well, here in this piece of news, they tell us they're abandoning one of them. They have reduced their workforce by 43%, streamlined operations, and initiated an ongoing prioritization process, which includes suspending the OV3294 program to enable focused investment in priority clinical programs. Every clinical trial costs money, costs a lot of money, and these things go on for years, and you got to pay for them all the time, month after month after month. So if you've got too many of them going on, the best way to cut the budget is just to cut some of them trials. So that's what they've done. The company has maintained strong financial position of $77 million in cash. Thank God, research and development companies, you want them to have money or they got to come to us for it. And marketable securities as of June 30th of this year, which are expected to support their operations and the potential to achieve 5 clinical and regulatory milestones by late first half 2026. That's a long ways away. Those are the sort of catalysts you're dealing with when you're dealing with biotech research and development. They are searching for a drug. When they find one, they get it into trials. Phase 1 takes a year roughly to see if it's safe. Phase 2 takes 3 years to see if it works. Phase 3 takes 5 years roughly, competing against all the other drugs. Total time, 5 to 8 years to get a drug on the market. So when you see these drug companies, the only time you normally see a run is when you get good news on a phase trial. Goes up, and because there's still 5 more years to go, whoop, comes right back down. And you got to wait for the next one. And every day I post, 50% of the news I post in the morning is about biotech pharmaceuticals with some sort of trials. Matter of fact, just so I can show you here, over here back at my Stock Titan, come up under news feed. They break down the news into AI news, FDA approvals, clinical trials. Come over here in the morning before the bell and you can get news early and you can see which charts are running with biotechs. And I'm telling you folks, there are some huge runs before they crash. Get in on them. Take the gains as it's climbing. Don't wait to find the ceiling. Take a piece in the middle. I don't care how much is up there. Take a piece in the middle and be happy. Let's see, where were we over here at Ovid? eNeuro publishes findings on anticonvulsant properties OV329 and potential effectiveness. Well, didn't we just read over here they're abandoning it? So that news, which came out in July, and when did this filing come out? This filing came out, oh, it's tough to find the date sometimes there, August. So there you go, folks. So the news came out, it's all good. It's good. But they're going to cancel it anyways. So that news has nothing to do with anything. This was the one I thought we had lost over on the other company. Since the company's inception, the company has generated $223 million in revenue, primarily from company royalty, licensed, and a termination agreement with Takeda Pharmaceutical Company. Did you hear what I said? Terminated. This is where they've been making most of their money, from Takeda Pharmaceuticals. They were getting royalties from them. They licensed something out to them. Done. We ain't getting that revenue no more. The company has now accumulated a deficit of $281 million as of June 30th. Working capital of 66. They just told us 77. Cash used and operating and had cash used in operating activities of 31 million for the last 6 months. The company recorded net income of 8.5 million in royalties now. So I don't know if that's up or down. I got to presume that the royalties have dropped a lot since they don't have Takeda paying them anymore. So what was the relative volume around Ovid? TikTok. Ooh, wow. That's way, way down on the major exchanges, folks. 258,000 shares a day over the last 30 days. You're talking 250,000 shares. Today, she did less than that, 180,000 shares on the major exchange. Share structure. They tell us we got about 71 million shares outstanding. Don't know what the float is. They don't tell us what insiders own, so I can't calculate it. All I know is it won't be higher than 70 million and could be considerably less. Market cap, we're at about 91 million. Financials for Ovid. Wow. What the heck is that all about? 2020, we had over $12 million. Don't forget those 3 zeros. And this is licensing fees. They're not manufacturing anything. Whatever they got, they license out and let other people manufacture it. And they get paid some of the profits from that sort of thing. Well, look here. 2021, they jumped up to $208 million. God almighty. Then dropped down to 1.5 million. And now we're down to 391,000. What sort of business is that? What kind of model are they working with? Looking over the quarterly reports, we haven't broke 200,000. Heck, we barely got over 150,000. We just did that the last quarterly report, $169,000. And again, licensing fees, so they get to keep every dollar that they make. Money in the bank. We got about $30 million. Well, that's good to hear. Total assets, 118 million. Oh, yeah. Liabilities is way down there at about 30 million. So we are holding $88 million worth of equity in a company that really hasn't got any revenues right now. And they've just lost a huge contract. I'm presuming it was a contract of some sort with Takeda, their royalties. There's their most recent financial. That came out on the 13th. That was for June. You want to know what's going on with the company? It's a lot easier. Believe me, it is a lot easier to go into the financials than to run around Google or to try to find news presses. Just get in there, put in a current date, a month, or whatever it is you're looking for. Split, loan, outstanding shares. Just put in the keyword and it'll find it for you. Get that information quick. All right, so there's all your information for Ovid. What we need now is a peek at the chart. So I'm going to turn this over to...
Wait, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What happened on June 17th?
June 17th. Let's see. Oh, we got an 8K that came out June 17th. Let's see what that says.
Switch back to your screen if you don't mind.
Oh, you want to see? Yes, ma'am. I can do that. I love having a woman in my life. Who else is going to push me around?
Sorry, I should have said that.
No, I love it. I'm a single guy, and I don't get this sort of treatment often enough. So, let's see. This is coming from this is the one I just opened, I believe. Let me make sure I got the right one here. You said the 17th of June.
Yes.
So they tell us here, regulation FD disclosure on June 17th. Ovid Therapeutics issued a press release announcing phase 3 top-line study results for Soltistat.
Okay.
This is for the reduction of convulsive seizure frequencies. And I haven't, now it says top-line study, and you think, oh, top-line, that must be good. It isn't. Don't think top-line means good. There's a lot of companies that get top-line results, which really means end-of-the-line results, final results. A lot of top-line results are not good. So I'm going to trust the chart tells us if this was good or not. I'm working on it.
Yeah, it was not good. We closed the previous day, Friday the 14th at around 3:29, and then opened the next day at 1:12. So you can see this big gap that I've highlighted here. So not too good.
And what was that I said? Phase 3 or phase
You said
2?
3.
See, phase 3. By that time, you've already got 5+ years invested. So when someone comes back and says, we don't like it, that is really depressing. That is when you see your biggest drops on biotechs, is when phase 3s fail. Like that.
Yeah. So let's see. So since then, I think this was August 13th. So this was just a couple weeks ago. It did have some positive earnings and revenue come out, so that gave it a little bit of a boost. You can see that. So we have a 52-week low of 68 cents. I needed to put that as approximately here. And
It is, I mean, it is working its way up, recovering
yeah,
slowly. She's
we're
getting on
coming
top
back.
of the MAs. Once they get close enough, she takes advantage and she jumps up on top of the MAs. But that is one hell of a gap she's going to have to fight to fill.
Yeah, that's a big gap. It's 52-week high was $4.10. So we're even way up here for the 52-week high. So let's drop it down to the 4-hour and see if we can see anything else. Yeah, look at this, what happened here. Not good. This was during
This
pre-market
is where you
hours.
want to throw in your Fibonacci from the top of that drop to the bottom of the drop to get your supports and resistances.
Yeah, you
Because
got to
it's really
remind me to
tough.
fix that because it's not working right now. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, right.
Here we go. This looks a little better. So ever since that report came out, we have been climbing. So this is more positive when we can zoom in a little bit more here.
Well, at least you know where she's pushing toward, where she fell from.
Yeah. So
Wow.
this gap here, though, yeah. So it's all the way back to the $3 range, and you can see this is the 200 on the 4 hours. We're still quite a ways to go. Well,
Yeah,
not too
she's going
bad,
to
but
need some good news. People are feeling the pain still. That phase 3 not coming in righteously. That's got to be painful. So they need something to make people feel better. So
yeah.
hopefully we get some news here. It's nice to see the chart is pulling up. And
Well, that
as
was
I
from
said,
this, so that's good. This was great news for it. That's what
obviously,
probably
yeah.
caused the climb. Yeah, and the volume came up a little bit more from the previous, a few weeks from July.
Personally, I don't play biotechs because the catalysts are so far spread. I just don't like getting trapped in a stock for a long period of time. And that's what happens to biotechs. So reading biotech charts are different because there's not volume on a regular basis. It's here and then it's not. And it's like, those are very tough charts to read.
So yeah, since the earnings report, we went from like around 82 cents, give or take, to like well above $1, to like the $1.30. But now we're about to 119. So it did come back up quite a bit. So that's good. That's good. Not quite where we were, not even close to the $3 range, but
She's breaking that 50, coming down now, looking like she's coming underneath the support that she had just made before she got there.
right here, yeah.
Yeah, right there. She looks like she's breaking that, and I'd be leery.
Pretty much right where it is, right where it is.
Yeah, I'd be very leery of that coming down a lot more. I'm sorry to say, probably down to the 200.
I was going to say the next one would probably be here.
Yeah.
Or here, maybe.
Yeah.
The 106
we
to
would
111
hope for
range.
The one in the middle, but in these sort of situations, they normally go right back to the 200 so they can start their climb all over again.
Okay. So yeah.
Well, that covers everything we had preliminarily done for you. Now we're going to lean on, sorry, hon. We're going to lean on Taylor's ingenuity here. What have you chosen for us out of the ticker?
Okay, so the first one was a pretty good suggestion. GEVO.
GV.
I don't believe we've looked at it before, but that came from our friend Bitcoin J.
I do believe GEVO is a EV company. GEVO.
I'll be honest, I don't know anything about it.
It sounds awfully familiar to me. Sounds like something I may have talked about before. This is GEVO Inc. Oh, you can't see. Hold on, I can fix that. We're looking at GEVO. GEVO is GEVO Inc. at 80 cents. We were down 10 0.2% today on the NASDAQ. See if we have a description here. It is a company out of Colorado. Best place to get a description could be a news press if they give us one here. Waiting patiently. Oh, no news press. Next place would be a disclosure. Well, here, let's see if we have a, we do. We've got a website here. Let's hope it works. Decarbonized fuels and chemicals. Let's see, products. Our sustainable aviation fuel will be drop-in ready to reduce the carbon intensity of travel. What are they working with? A different type of fuel. It would help if we had a nice brief. Gevo creates protein-rich additions to the food chain and advanced renewable fuels simultaneously, and also powers processes that create additional energy sources, such as renewable natural gas and green hydrogen. Another company getting on the hydrogen bandwagon here. Products. Sustainable aviation fuel, protein high-value nutrition products, renewable natural gas, isobutanol, and low-carbon ethanol. So they're involved with green energy in a lot of different ways. We don't have time to get into it all. We don't have any news to look at, did we? No, we didn't. So let's see if there was any disclosures here. We do have an 8K. Yay, yay, yay. That came out today. Please be something of interest. Uh-oh. This is a notice of delisting or failure to comply from the NASDAQ. They tell us here that they are not meeting with the $1 minimum bid price. Can't be under $1 too long on the major exchange. Go under $1 for too long, you get this, a warning. They tell you that you get 60 days to get that price up over $1, but it's not up to the company. It's up to us, the investors. We got to bid it up over $1, close over $1 for 10 consecutive days. It can come down under $1 during those 10 days, but by the end of the day, we better close over $1. Once we do that, the company's out of hot water. If we don't do it, there's one of two options. They either get thrown down to the OTC or do a stock split. We don't like either one of those options. So the best solution is to get the price bid up over $1. Let's see if they have anything else in here. Sometimes they don't meet stockholder equity or other things. Nope, looks to be the only thing. Now let's see if we have a deadline here. Uh-oh. The company was provided an initial 180 days up until August 27th of this year. That was 2 days ago, folks. Let's see if we got another date here. I don't see another date being given to us. I don't see anything about an appeal here. Uh-oh. There. Right there. Up until February 24th, 2025. Now, this is if the company appeals, I do believe. I don't think they've been given another. But I got to tell you, I was just reading that. It looks as though they're going to be changing this rule in September. I do believe it is, where they're not going to give 6 months. They're going to give a year to get your price over $1, just as standard. So these companies won't have to come back and appeal and ask for another 6 months, which really is a long time. If your price falls under $1 and you're under $1 for a year, you've got problems, big problems. So that seems to be, wait a minute, we got a bunch of Form 4s here. Please, S. Uh-oh. All right, you see that big S there? That tells us it's a sale. 16,000 shares, not very many, for 75 cents. They had 405,000 shares. Let's see what this is about to cover tax. So what we're going to see here is most of these, yep, all on the same date. I'll just try the bottom one now. Yeah, see the one right there? All of them are just paying taxes. Just a little amount of shares. Most of them are getting the same amount of shares. So we're not getting any catalyst from that. And these 144s came out on the 22nd. Not too familiar. I'm not totally sure here, but these could be share buybacks. Could be. I'd have to take a closer look. This is the same sort of layout that you get with the forms for share buybacks. So I'm not seeing anything else here. We could go to Google. We could go to Twitter. Those would be the two other places I would look for news. Outside, let's just take a quick look here. Right here, let's see what Gevo comes up. Gevo. I love this site, really do. Pioneering company in the renewable chemicals and advanced biofuels industry. Had news on the 21st. Gevo to supply renewable hydrocarbon-based low carbon intensity racing fuel blend stock to Shell. Now there's a bloody catalyst. That's what we're looking for with a big name like Shell. Come on now. So they're now dealing with a new product, racing fuel, dealing with Shell. We'd have to dive into that to see what's going on. The next piece of news came out on the 9th. New report finds there are $4 to $6 in benefits to the U.S. economy for every $1 of federal SAF incentives at Gevo's Net Zero 1 facility. $4 to $6 benefit for every $1 of federal SAF incentive. That would be worth reading to me. That sounds like it's profit, money, good money. I'm not understanding it, but it sounds like another great catalyst here. So we do have some catalysts. We could have easily overlooked those just by not going any further with our due diligence. All right, let's take a look now at the relative volume for the company. If I can find the page, I got so many windows open. Relative volume for Gevo. Yay, we got a company that's actually getting volume. It's not up a whole lot more, but it's a nice jump from 2.9 million to 3.4 million. Share structure for Gevo, your everyday average share count, I guess, 240 million. Float could be that high, could be considerably less, I don't know, but it's somewhere between a million and 239 million. Market cap, 213 million. Taking a look at our financials for the company. Well, that's great. Look at that. Over the last 4 years, they've been bouncing all over the place and not bringing in any profit whatsoever. That's all changed. At the end of 2023, we had $17.2 million and got to keep about 40% of that, $5.2 million. That is looking nice. Quarterlies keep going. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're doing over 4 million, close to it, and now we just broke 5 million. 5.2 million in a quarter. What was our annuals before? 17 million. Our quarterlies, the last four, we're looking at almost 20 million there. So we are now making more money than we're normally doing. We're in the black, making all sorts of profit. Balance sheet for Gevo. Wow. Lots of money in the bank for a penny stock, $247 million. Total assets, $258 million. Liabilities is $95 million. So we are holding, look at that, about $500 million in positive stockholder equity for Gevo. Not bad. And we've already been through the disclosures, haven't we? Yes, we did. We picked through those. So let's go take a look at the chart now for Gevo. She was dropping today with all that we just read. That's surprising me.
Okay, so here's the daily chart, and I marked off a few lines here. This 143 is a 52-week high. $1 I marked off not because it was just happened to be $1, but because we got some support, resistance here, and then I found this other line of resistance around 80 cents, which is pretty much where we are now. We're kind of coming down. It kind of bounced up because post market looks like we're at 84, and then its 52-week low was 48 cents, which is down here. That happened on Monday, August 5th.
So we're bouncing off the low, getting on top of the 200. This is looking picture perfect.
Yeah, I like this very much. So,
and you've got a nice spread there between 80 and $1. That's 20 cents. You could scalp that bad boy, getting in on top of the support and selling underneath the next resistance. Bink.
So this is the 4-hour chart with Heikin-Ashi candles. So you can see exactly what happened here. Since Friday, we came up to almost $1. It followed this 9 pretty well, actually. This is a nice climb here. And it looks like this might be just a healthy dip because it really didn't go below this support level at around 78 cents. I think I said 80 cents, but 78 cents, about right here. So I like that.
Yeah.
Trying to
After you have a nice climb, you need a healthy dip because that'll give you a healthy climb. It'll just take it all back. If she's in an uptrend, it'll just take it right back and give you more. But
Here's
if
1
it's
hour.
scalping, all you want to do is get between those supports and resistances. Just
Mm-hmm.
click those. Forget about long travel. Think of it like hitchhiking. You only want to ride to the next exit, right? You don't worry about where the guy's going after he drops you off. Why do we care where the stock goes after we get out? Who cares if it's giving more gains? You got money. Just take your piece of pie, go to the next restaurant, get another piece of pie. By the end of the day, you got a full pie. And you didn't have to sit around all day with one stock sweating 100% gain.
Yeah. So here it is on the 1 hour. It looks
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Bouncing.
Like
Yeah,
so,
she's looking
we can.
tasty. I'd watch this one tomorrow. She's been on a strong uptrend. You can see her last big pullback. Her last big
Volume's still
pullback,
there.
that big W, the double bottom there. She bounced off of that strong, came right back to where she fell, went sideways, and then launched. So I'm expecting this to continue growing. The chart looks positive to me in all ways. She's just taking a nice pullback, which is healthy. I mean, if you were in it and bought up there, I'm sure it doesn't feel healthy to you right now. But I think you're in safe position here for a comeback.
Yeah, and it looks like this week at least, it looks like it's coming up during the regular hours, comes up and then falls back down. Happened here, happened a little bit here.
Right, so we could watch for a good poke tomorrow to the 50.
It could, yeah.
Right in the morning.
I mean, this is lower highs, but that's okay because this came up here. This was after hours, though, so it came out all the way up to 86. So yeah, I would just keep an eye on this. I want to watch this one tomorrow too. This one.
Yeah, I like people, and she's got catalyst. Thank God we went and looked for news in other places. They're working with Shell. I mean, you're talking multi-billion-dollar company there. So what did you have in mind for our second pick?
You know, I didn't really see one that I loved, but we did have a request for AHRO. That was one. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah, I didn't really, a couple of them I didn't really love. Let's see what else we had.
See, you guys put Taylor in a hard position.
Well,
you guys should have been dropping pictures that she looks at and goes, God, they're all good. I just don't know which one to pick.
I wish it was like that, but that's the problem. There wasn't really any that I loved. TP, let me see. Give me just a second. TP.
Let me see. I was trying to think of some tickers. BCD. What was that?
We had someone. Yeah, this one is not. Well, we haven't looked at it in a while. We could look at this one. It's not super hot, but so we had a couple. We had one request for TPET and one for AHRO, but I didn't really get any requests after I said over and over, we need more chart or
okay, let's take a look at TPET.
Yeah.
The reason I'm choosing it is because she had a nice bounce after market and she's in a breakout position. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to give a spoiler alert to Taylor. But yeah, we'll pick that one then. TPET. That sounds familiar to me. Trial Petroleum. This is on the major exchange, New York Stock Exchange. Finished today at 21.5 cents. Dropped 3.5% today, which is about, well, it's under a penny. Dropped less than a penny today. This is a company out of California. The company has had production primarily from 8 fields in California and an exceptional team with a history of generating prospects, drilling wells, and economically producing discovered oil. Now, you've always got to verify that description is really what the company's doing. Lots of companies do mergers and they don't change the name, don't change the description. And here they are working with AI talking robots and we think they're in oil drilling. So let's see here. Asphalt project. Company provides update on asphalt project. Now using more powerful downhole heater. First oil production expected August through September 2024. Drilling of third well planned August through September of 2024. Option period to acquire remaining 17% working interest extended to October 10th. All right, so we got a lot of little things here. Looks like they are working with oil. They've got a few things here that they said they're working on, getting some more property, acquiring the remaining 17%, which means they've already got 82% of this piece of property, with at this point in time is 960 acres. They've got, let me see, TPT has until the earlier of the successful drilling and completion of 50 new wells, or November 10th, 2025, to exercise its option on the adjacent 1,920 acres. A typical project well has an estimated ultimate recovery of 300,000 barrels of oil, with an initial production rate of approximately 40 barrels of oil per day. If you need to know that information. Let's see what else we can learn here. Is there any more news over here that we could use? Trio Petroleum files to sell 35 million shares of common stock. Now, I'm always interested when they're going to sell these shares. Is it a resale? Doggone it, that's Seeking Alpha. I can't read Seeking Alpha. As soon as I go over there, it blocks me. Hey, I'm not blocked. Yay. Let's see here. Filed prospectus related to the offer sale of 3 products is not an offer sale. Yeah, this is not an offer to sell, as it says right there. And it's so why does it say that? Well, they do this 3 or 4 times like practice, and then they'll put out an effect, and that the next one is real. So this is just a notification, and a lot of times they will resell shares. One of their big shareholders will say, resell some of my shares for me. And even though it looks like a public offering of 8 million shares, it's not. It's shares already on the market just being resold to me and you from a big investor. Anything else we got over there? Where were we? Where'd my T-Pet go? Too many windows. Company announces first revenue. That's news. That's always news to me. First revenues, that's virgin. Everybody loves virginity. Company collects first revenue check for April oil sales at McCool Ranch Field. HH1 at McCool Ranch producing steadily at approximately 30 barrels of oil a day. How much are they getting per barrel? Do I see any dollars in there? No. Okay, so that's one piece of information. We know they're making money. We don't know how much money, but it's virgin. It's coming in. That's exciting. Once it starts, it should start to grow. That's the whole basis. Any other news? Geez, we keep finding more and more good news here. I like this. Petroleum names Robin Ross as chairman. Oh, heck yeah. Company successfully completes first 2 exploratory wells in Utah. You know, I really don't follow oil companies. I don't find mining companies. It's just not my cup of tea. But this company sounds like they got some things going on right now. And let's see how many shares they got. They're talking about putting 35 million more shares on the market. Wow. So that would be a bit scary. We got 50 million shares. 35 million is, 70%? Yeah, 70% of what's on the market. So that would be a 70% dilution. That means you're losing 70% of the value in your stock when and if that happens. So just by putting that filing out there, it's not actually happening yet. They're just announcing it. It's like a forewarning. That can put a lot of scare into people. They may want to pull out until afterwards. We don't know what the float is. We don't know what the float will be afterwards either, but it'll be higher. Market cap, we are at about 11 million right now. Financials for the company, we got nothing. There's your virgin financials right there, 72. And how could it not cost them anything? Okay, didn't cost them anything. They got to keep all $72,000 for themselves. They've got $220,000 in the bank, 11 million in assets. I wasn't expecting that. And only 2 million in liabilities. I wasn't expecting that either. So I am surprised to see that we've got darn near $10 million in assets in this company. And what was the share structure right now? 50 million. So you put 50 million into 10 million. Yeah, that's getting close right there. That's about right. The price is real close to where it should be. What was the relative volume for today? Oh no. We dropped 66%, going from roughly 3 million down to 1 million shares today. Yikes. All right, so we were at 21 cents, dropping 3.5%. It sounds like we had a bad day, but what do I know until we look at the chart? And honestly, I look at the charts first before I look at the news and filings. That's what I do. I don't bother reading filings and news because when I'm done reading it, I say, well, that sounds good. I wonder what the chart looks like. So I go and look at the chart, and that makes my mind up. So why not start with the charts? Find a chart that has heat and match some hot news to it.
So we first looked at this on February 29th, which was right here. And I had this marked off already where we consolidating, broke through that. But no one brought it up around April when it, shot way up here. So
yeah, what's up with that, folks?
we
Bring it
didn't
up when
talk
it's
about it then.
skyrocketed. Look
We
at that
missed
rip.
that.
What
So
day was
now,
that?
that was on April 12th and 15th.
Okay.
A lot of volume came in. Well, it started April 2nd. We went from the support here, like around 9 cents, went all the way up to like 70 cents. That was just what a run over several days too. So, I mean, we missed that. That was
Yeah,
pretty
I
nice.
like those several days because you have several opportunities to get in or get out. There's lots of time to make money.
Let me see what the
I'm looking to see if
looks
anything.
like its 52-week low was 8 cents, 52-week high was 74 cents. So yeah, that was its 52-week high right up here, 74. It must have hit it another time and I didn't even see it. It was back here. Yeah, there it is right there. So we didn't quite get there.
We had a whole series of
9
securities
cents.
purchase agreements with a bunch of accredited investors, one after another. There's an 8K, an 8K, an 8K. So we had a bunch of small investors, under a $500,000 each, but they all came in at the same time. That's
Okay.
what I see.
And I marked off this line here at around 22 cents. It looked like we had some support here.
Looks like it's breaking it too.
Resistance. Yeah, it's right at that, maybe a little bit below it.
Yeah, so we may need another one underneath it because it's probably going to come down.
I mean, these aren't exact, so I mean,
yeah, that's what I tell everybody. Supports aren't ever exact.
Yeah, we could bring it down to here and say that it's right on it.
The next one underneath that, where would that be?
Maybe here.
Yeah, that looks right.
Around 16 cents, 17 cents.
I think that's where it's going to go. 16 cents.
16 or 17 cents because we got some here, we got some here.
And you can see she is right up against that 200 with many opportunities to jump on top. And she is saying no over and over and over again. So as far as I'm concerned, she's going to fall.
4 hours not looking too hot.
No. No, I would run from this stock. And if I was in it, I'd just wait to find the floor and average down. She looks like she should have been at a floor right there. But I don't like the short chart. I don't like the long chart.
Yeah. We didn't really have much to choose from. So that's just it. I mean, yeah. I
could always bring a spare, just a couple on the side in case.
Yeah, I probably should have had one
tires
on deck.
Folks, I know a lot of you are bringing us stocks that you hold. I don't mind looking at them, but if you want me to do that, come on over to the Discord group. I'm over there virtually most of the morning, a lot of the time in the afternoon. Bring your stocks that you are holding over there, and we'll look at them and talk about them. But for the show, let's bring stocks we can introduce, stocks that have hot charts, stocks that have hot catalysts, so that we can all get on board and make some money. Looking at stocks that are falling, we don't want to look for light at the end of the tunnel. My show is on top and hot, not at the bottom looking. On top and hot. So I'm not being mean here, but
of course
as a group can bring in 8 hot stocks, and we could be saying, man, look at this one. I don't know which one to look at tomorrow. Well, you got 8 to consider. Whichever one starts to run, jump in underneath or jump in on top of a support. That's the idea here. So if you've got stocks you want me to look at, I'm ready to do it. But bring them over to the Discord group, and I can give you all my time. And you can ask questions. We can do a little bit of dialogue together, and that's a heck of a lot better than one-way communication. I'm sure a lot of you have something to say to me. All right, folks, that covers it for us. That is our stocks for the day. What time is? Oh my God, we hit 5:40 in the evening. I appreciate your time, folks. Your time is valuable to you, and it's valuable to me. If I was to add up an hour and a half from each one of you, I just got a lot of time from you today. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for your time too, Taylor. You're here every week, and I don't pay you. So thank you very much for helping me do this.
I volunteer happily. I don't mind.
I know you do. So did Lily. So did Lily. But sometimes life has a change and you just got to go. And I expect all good women in my life to leave me. So I know you're not going to be here forever, but I appreciate you while you are. I appreciate you too, folks. And we'll be back next week, Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and bring us some hot stocks. Let's get all excited here, folks. Let's bring stocks that can make us money the very next day. Not swing trades, day trades. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
But funny face.